Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Civ Show podcast. We suck, so you don't have to. I'm your host, Moisos.
Raising Zozo.
And Nystagmus here.
And it is an exciting time to be a Civilization fan right now because the Byzantine Empire just got announced. But we're not going to talk about that yet because we have other order to attend to, and it's talking about the last Civ Show game. But if you want to hear about the Byzantine Empire, that will happen in the second part. Last game, let's give a quick summary. It was Norway versus Maori versus the Ottomans, and it was a very quick 1 week long game that ended in religious victory by yours truly, Norway. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hold your applause. I know we have a show to run here, boys. Hold on. I said hold your applause. But it was a fun game. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I love Archipelago. Matt, personally, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad game on my part. I'm going to be completely 100% honest. I think I made this to Moy after the game. Yeah. So I played that game after I spent 8 hours that day sitting in front of my computer for like a licensing thing for my job. Doing like a bunch of like just talking through presentations and stuff. So I was pretty much on autopilot most of that game, and I went down the wrong tech tree. Yeah. And so I did not go for mass production and get shipyards that Maori need to boost production on Archipelago map. So that kind of ruined me. But I was dazed and confused. And so I will blame that to my forever, basically.
All right, so valid excuse. That's a valid excuse, I guess. Zoe, how did you feel about that game?
How did I feel about that game? I felt I had a pretty terrible start. Like slow. It was a very, very slow start. Not terrible. Like I liked my area. It took me, and this is me these days anyways. I usually take my time now and then explode. The two things I liked about that game, number one was what Zozo became. I think I can bring it up here in the chat.
Do you have a photo? Yeah.
I think I have a photo here. So of what Zozo became, that was
your mausoleum, right? You built the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Zozo turned into this just gorgeous, beautiful. Let me see if oh man, that's like the last thing I want to do. Oh well, there's a terrible, gigantic long link. Due to my inability to do a copy paste suddenly.
No, that works. That works.
Does it work? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you look at that, Zozo is just this gorgeous, amazing city. Like I think I got up to 19 population. I built that wonder, and I just had so many bonus resources coming out of. Just like look at all the fish, and the amber and the turtle,
the fisheries,
and the crab.
I noticed too. You had
and the fisheries,
yeah.
So that was one thing that was great. Was Zozo was this big city, and I was even able. I don't know if you can see at the bottom there. I was able to pull off the bazaar of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I see Grand Zimbabwe, and then left of that, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a little fort.
The Alcahama, gives you a free military policy, which was very useful. But yeah, like with all those bonus resources, now I don't know if they had to be ground resources, but I hope they didn't. So yeah, trade was really good with Zozo. And if you had Zozo on your trade route, it was probably really high. So that was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was great. I really enjoyed having a massively gorgeous capital. The second thing that I loved about that game is I went full Ottoman Empire and I lined it up perfectly where I had like a Dark Age and then going, I think, into the Industrial Age, I had a Golden Age, which is when we ended off, or sorry, Heroic Age.
Yeah.
So, and I had gotten my and I had a big army of them. My Janissaries, I had my cool boats, and I was starting to attack the Russians and like starting to move on them, and it felt like a perfect end to the game like that. It's like, all right, I'm pulling this off. So yeah, I felt that like while I didn't win, I played the Ottomans very well, and my only regret was it would have been fun if we did have like another hour, and it would have been to see if I could have taken out the Russians. But and then I think we had that. I really liked the end. I think that was good. Where we said, make your case, Moy.
Yeah, like a majority,
and you're about to make your case right now because you're going to tell us about your game and then the case you made at the end.
I am.
So
you see this like page of notes right here. You see that? Oh yeah.
You see this crumpled piece of paper?
Like
that's my notes.
Solomon, do my thing.
Solomon,
do I know where all my notes are?
Start
right up here. That's where all my notes are.
Got to do my thing and Zozo. Those are my.
I have like complete sentences and paragraphs and like, oh man.
All hail the Sneck. The Sneck and beckons, and it now you can see it has a great tome to spread the wisdom. We're gonna publish that, by the way. It's gonna be the words of Sneck. Yeah, we'll write it on snakeskin.
I thought
it'll be good.
I thought about having a winner blog. Whoever wins has to write a blog post once a week, or maybe once every other week, because depending on how long the games last. And like they just explain in full transparency their entire strategy, and every time it gets posted.
I say I'm okay with that because the likelihood that I would ever have to write an entry in that blog is pretty low. So,
but if you don't, go ahead.
I would definitely do something like that.
But if you don't know what we're talking about in terms of this blog thing, a bit of an announcement here is that we, the Civ Show, are featured on the CPL website. If you don't know what the CPL is, it stands for the Civilizations Players League. It is a multiplayer competitive league that if you're into really competitive civilization, then you 100% should join the CPL. And you can find our content up there as well. You can find our podcast, you can find our YouTube videos, and maybe soon you'll find the winner's blog, where you'll find true transparency of the winner, which here comes the first entry of the winner's blog, but in vocal form, audio form, podcast form. Ready? Okay.
We're going to put it on Fiverr, and he'll get some kids to make cartoons.
As read by Morgan Freeman.
Read by Morgan Freeman? Okay. I personally think it was a great format.
Terrible.
6-player free-for-all archipelago map. Felt fast-paced and exciting. Okay, bye. No, okay. So here was my summary plan. So with Norway, I knew it was 100% possible to get to a golden age in the classical era. They have a unique longship, or that replaces the galley. That's +4 score right there, and that's pretty much enough to get to a golden age, where if you find enough goody huts and if you find barbarian encampments and city states and everything like that. I even took the diplomat as my first governor, so I can put it in a city state, so I can become a suzerain of the city state to get that era score. So I really had this all planned out. I achieved the golden age. I also I kind of skipped a part. Hold on, let me go back. My first science technology was astrology. That's why I asked, why can't I build this holy site here? It's like, oh, did you discover mining? You can't cut down a tree if you don't have mining. I'm like, oh, shoot. I didn't know that because I've never done this strategy before. So I went astrology first. I put down a holy site. I got as much faith as I could and accumulated as much faith as I could. Once that was down, I bought the shrine right after that to accumulate more faith. Then I got the golden age. I picked up monumentality. I bought, I don't know how many settlers. Basically, anytime I had the opportunity to, I bought a settler, and I established my dominance in my continent. And then even throughout other continents, Nystagmus commented like, "Oh, I don't know where to expand anymore. Like you've kind of taken up where I needed to go." I'm like, "Well, I got nowhere else to go either. I'm already all over the map." Right? So I kind of pulled the Zoe, right? I have a ton of settlers, a ton of land, and I just do my thing. But I also had a military to back it up. Like if you wanted to go to war with me, I was ready. I had long ships. I had some archers as well that I can move around through the water, and I was totally ready to go. Once that was established, I was pretty much smooth sailing from there. I didn't take work ethic this time, not because I didn't have good adjacency bonuses. The good thing with Norway and the Stave Church is that they get this hidden adjacency bonus later with woods, but it doesn't apply until temple. Like, you have to unlock the temple, which is the Stave Church, then you get the adjacency bonuses to woods. So you have to kind of go into the game knowing that that exists, and then purposefully plant your holy sites next to woods, which is exactly what I did. Once that was established, I was accumulating a lot of faith from my cities because I had a holy site in a good majority of my cities with Stave churches and with all of that. Then I just started buying missionaries and apostles. The next golden age, I took the thing that gives you plus movement and plus charges for your missionaries and apostles. And then that's when I stopped obviously buying settlers and builders with my faith, and instead I transitioned to full faith. And I was full missionaries, full apostles. Each of them had 5 charges, which is insane. So they were easily spreading the faith all over. I went to Zoe because you were like, yeah, bring your faith. And I brought your faith over to you and brought you Jesuit education. I went to Nystagmus and I brought him how to read books and watch plays. And then I went to next was like the Aztecs because they had a religious emergency. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to the Aztecs. And then I went to the Ethiopia, took them out of the game with domination victory. And then finally I had Russia left. And if you would have taken out Russia, I would have won. Or if I would have converted Russia, I would have won. So
nice.
That was a good. And
that was
there you go.
That was the case you made. Like at the end, we were uncertain. Like I knew that if I pressed on, like I could probably get 2 more hours out of that game by attacking Russia.
Right.
But you know, I like that you thought you could win. I was like, okay, make your case, and I think you made a very good case. You had 4 out of 6 of the civs converted. Nystagmus was willing to let you convert him. I don't know if he would have if it resulted in you winning. That let's assume.
I
that
also
he
had 2 apostles in his land, and I had 2 apostles in
Russia's
land, right?
and he was at that point too. He was like, "I'm good." Like we could tell he would be okay to not continue that game next week.
Very true.
And with me conquering, if I had succeeded in conquering Russia. Even I might have only needed to take a few of their cities.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been enough for you to win. And I was like, yeah, you got it. And I think we'll do that more in the future if it's unanimous.
Yeah.
If one of us is like, no, then you can either go to the community or whatever. But,
because then we can cycle through games really quickly if we really need to. If there's a clear winner, then it's like, just cycle through this. Right?
And that's the thing is, for there to be like a game that's worth continuing, I think it'd be like we're all in a pretty good position. None of us is downtrodden, and like we excitedly would go to that game again.
Yes,
and that will be few and far between, but they will happen from time to time.
Yeah, I agree. I want to comment. Norway's becoming one of my favorite civilizations, and this is really weird. I know, right? So I was listing off of my favorite civilizations to one of the streamers I was watching. And I was like, like Aztec, who did I say? Aztec, Inca, and I'm like, Norway. I said Norway, and that's the first time I've ever said Norway as my top 3. And they felt good. The rating system, like you said, Zoe, rating is so good. So good. It. Oh my gosh.
My Ottomans, my Barbaries had no movement penalty for raiding.
Yeah.
So I raid like 3 times for a new establishment, and then I move, raid, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Now mine was no movement. Everyone usually has movement penalty, but yeah, that was awesome.
Nystagmus, have you ever like raided, like purposefully had that as your primary objective to kill and pillage?
No,
you should try it.
To be honest.
You should try it. It's really good.
The other neat thing,
bad influences, man.
No.
The other neat thing about that game was it was the first one in recent memory where we had no game modes on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No apocalypse mode. No secret societies. No shuffle. And to me, the most noticeable one was the no secret societies. You realize how much of a Civ injection. It's like
Yeah.
a shot of adrenaline to the heart. You know, four easy to earn governor titles. Like,
Yeah. It's like you realize how naked you are, kind of thing. You just like you suddenly like look down and you're like, oh my god, I'm naked. Like what? Like that's what it felt like when Secret Societies was off.
yeah,
But so
Yeah,
like,
it would. Yeah, it does. It changes the game almost completely. To be honest, like it changes the pace.
yes,
It changes like your ability to expand faster. Like I remember, like with Secret Studies on, you can get Magnus with like the without
That.
population thing, like
3
that,
turns,
and just
yeah.
start building. Just keep building settlers. Just just keep building
Yeah.
settlers. You don't have to cost of population or anything like that.
Every single one of my settlers costed population, by the way. I would do want to point that out. It hurt a little bit inside. But yeah, no,
it does feel, it feels completely different, to be honest.
It's especially since we've been playing with it every week. Like we never turned it off. We turned off apocalypse mode, right? Shuffle mode just got added.
We turned off apocalypse mode after I got pelted with comments.
Yeah, it lasted like
that's
2
when
or
we
3
stopped
weeks.
playing with it.
Yeah, it didn't last that long.
it did not last long before we got sick of all the volcanoes and the comments.
Yeah, but
or
like
random blizzards and dust storms, and it became a very frustrating game mode.
I liked not having secret societies on though, because it didn't feel like there was any cheesiness to the game. Like everything was completely legitimate. There's like no excuse why you didn't get this or you didn't get that other than your own gameplay. There was less RNG, because I know even when I was playing in the community day, I couldn't get void singers, and that was just RNG. Right, I kept getting a lot of goody huts, and I couldn't get the void singers, and not my whole strategy, but a lot of my strategy got thrown out the window because I couldn't get it. This time there was no excuse. It was like there's way less RNG for you now. You have to come in with a plan.
Well, you can make the same argument for almost any game mode then, right? Because like apocalypse mode, like it's pretty random that if a dust storm comes in, like destroys half the population in your capital city, right?
True.
Like that, and that can hurt you. Like that can hurt you pretty bad.
Or you just pick Russia, and like you don't have to worry about natural disasters in your land.
Or Japan, I guess.
But I think that its strength is for secret governors is the consistency. At least you might not get the governor you want, but you will get bonus governors. Like you'll get at least 2 or 3. And that early in the game makes a huge difference, and I think that's the big and the shuffle is crazy, really hard. It's hard mode, especially for somebody who needs Luneras, who can't be getting them, and
No, I feel you.
Let's face it, Gran Colombia has so many advantages. You don't even need your Luneras, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah, you can go to war right at the classical era, and like you're already way more powerful than everybody else. You can take on anybody with Gran Colombia.
So
just the generals by themselves.
You played a great game though, Moy. I think like most of that game you had, your military strength and your power, overall power, indicating the overall Civ score was if not highest, very close to highest. The computers in that game didn't feel completely overwhelming.
No,
always got to be mid-sentence when that happens.
What happened? That was a nice challenge. It wasn't like an unreasonable. It wasn't like Germany 250 science in 100 AD.
Yeah.
But anyways, very very good game. Now we said moving forward, we're going to start having, instead of that the winner chooses the game, we want to have a little bit more of a static schedule. Oh, we just lost. Hey, that time it was Nystagmus. We want to have a little bit more consistency. So instead of the whoever wins chooses, we want to have a rotating host choice, where it'd be Moy chooses, Zoe chooses, Nystagmus chooses, and then our 4th game would be our community game. And the idea would be that ahead of time we know what the game is we're going to be playing next week, and what the reward is for winning the game is that you get to choose your Civ first. Okay, you get to choose your Civ first, which reminds me of, and right now we had already kind of before this, before Nystagmus reminds us of what he chose. I had said what Civ I'm doing, but I realized, Moy, you won the game.
No.
No.
Okay, fine. I'll pick first. Okay, fine. I will.
When the time comes, you pick first. You pick
Okay.
whoever you want. I know the world well. I will love any of the other choices.
Okay.
Okay. So
okay.
you will get to choose. So Nystagmus is his choice this week. Next game will be mine. So Nystagmus, what is it that you have in store for us for our next game?
So we have not, in the history of the Civ show, so far tried any mods, and so I thought it'd be interesting if we tried a mod. And so everyone kind of knows this already, that Zoe for sure is obviously some sort of nerd, and right, but I was a big nerd back in the day too, still am, and I was really into Warhammer, the fantasy Warhammer. And so I have a 1500 Dark Elf army actually, with the figurines and everything and stuff like that. So I am choosing the Warhammer mod fantasy to play for the next game. And so with that, we have the mod ready. There's a bunch of different civs for it. In case anyone doesn't know, if you're not familiar with Warhammer, kind of similar to the world that Tolkien created for Lord of the Rings, right? So there's like elves, there's humans, there's dwarfs, right? And so on and so forth. And so it's very similar to that, although it's got its own lore to it. That's not like Lord of the Rings. So there's not like Sauron or anything like that. So and so without further ado, I think Moy is the first who's going to choose this.
And Moy, before you choose, I want you to know I'm not choosing that civ. I've changed my mind.
I already have one in mind. I already mentally mentally prepared for me to play this civ. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to be picking. The more I read about this guy, the more I want to play it. So like that's when he said, like, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. I will be playing. He's called Lord Mazdumandi. He is the Lord of the Lizard Men, and the way they describe him is really weird. I don't know if it's totally appropriate, so I'll not say it out loud. But he looks like a frog, and it says, "Yes, all the Pepe jokes have been made. No, they're not funny anymore," and I like that. So I'm gonna be playing this giant frog.
He is a race known as the Slan. And they are one of the most ancient of ancient races, and they possess great magical powers, and they're carried around they're like really big frogs, okay, and they don't hop around anymore. They're really fun in the Warhammer Blood Bowl game, though. They hop around a lot, but anyways,
So I'm gonna be playing the Lizardman, Lord Mazdumandi. That's my dude right there.
All right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Do I choose next?
Yeah, you're up, man.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so I am presuming, because I know the lore well, I haven't checked. I'm presuming that this is in here. With 43 civs, I hope that it's in here. I am going to be the vampire counts. So that is as long as that civ exists, I will be the vampire counts.
Vlad von Karstein.
All right. All right. I will be the vampire counts.
Okay, Manfred von Karstein leads the vampire counts. Yes. Oh, there's also Vlad von Karstein. So there's two. You have two.
I'll take a look.
Manfred and Vlad.
Probably Vlad.
And then there's Luther Harkin that leads the vampire Coast. Vampire Coast.
I'll choose between them.
Okay, so we don't know yet.
Probably the counts. Okay. Without knowing anything about it.
Okay, so in Nystagmus now, go ahead. Who are you choosing?
And I kind of gave it away, so I'm going to go by my current, the army I currently own in real life, and so I'm going to do the Dark Elves. Now, there are many two main Dark Elves that are in this mod. I'm going to choose Morathi. Who is the hag sorceress of the Dark Elves. And so I'm going to choose her to be the leader of the Dark Elves and lead them in this next game coming up.
Now, if you don't know anything about Warhammer like I do, don't worry. Just come by on the Civ show on Sunday, and it's still going to be Civilization. You're still going to enjoy it.
And I tried it a bit. It still looks the same. It's just there's some wacky units and other wacky stuff. I actually do own Skaven for Blood Bowl, but I thought let's do something a little different, mix it up a bit. Okay. So, question is Nystagmus. for the map is a pre-made map. Do I get to decide if there's modes, or do you want to specify?
I'm gonna put a hard stop on no apocalypse mode.
No apocalypse mode. No apocalypse mode. Okay. I am going to say definitely let's throw the governors back on. Secret societies. The thing is, from playing the Skaven, like there is some wacky buildings in there. Like the Skaven got like their barracks also made science like a library beside a mountain. Like, so there's weird things in there. So it's like, do we want to go full, cluster F, or just see what the game provides us? What do you guys think? Because
I personally think let's just try the mod how the mod is. Personally.
Yeah.
Because then if you introduce secret societies, you're like the bank, which maybe it's replaced by something in the mod, is now going to be replaced with just whatever the bank, like the whatever it is in you know what I'm talking about, in secret societies, whatever the replacement is.
Can I decide?
Yeah, Gilded Vault.
Can I decide how many city states there are?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. As much as you can fill.
As
many as we can do.
Okay, max city states.
From city states.
Okay.
The map was big and empty, so I think a lot of city states will help fill it out.
Okay, that's very fair. Okay, so we have a Warhammer mod, max city states, and we have our civilizations as well. I don't remember them, so I'm not going to repeat them.
Lizard folk,
lizard men,
lizard men, vampire counts, and the dark elves.
And the dark elves. There we go.
We're in a nerd boy.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm too.
And let's take a little bit of a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the fun stuff of the new Byzantine Empire and the goal, what we know about the goal, and what we can predict about the goal as well. Don't go anywhere, because we will be right back. Welcome back to the Civ Show podcast, where we suck so you don't have to. There's been a massive announcement today with the first look of the Byzantine empires, not aliens, Dizzo. No, not aliens. These are real people, believe it or not. Yeah, the Byzantine Empire led by Basil II. Now, I don't know anything about him. I don't know if any of our hosts know anything about him.
I don't want to say too much because
you might not.
We'll be covering him.
It might not be like you might not know. It might not. It might be like a hearsay. We'll say.
Well, no, because I don't want to spoil the surprise.
Oh, you don't want to spoil the surprise. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Ooh,
so let's go over what they just announced today.
Now, Moy, technically, since our last podcast, they've made a few announcements, right? So they've announced this, and they also announced other things coming out with this pack.
Yes. So let's talk about the whole update, not just the Byzantines, but the whole update. Just the Byzantines were the newest and brightest.
Yeah, I'm gonna delay you on just to make our viewers wait.
You're making me wait, man. You're making me suffer. I can't imagine how they feel right now. Oh,
so, Moy, what did they introduce?
All right. Well, they introduced the Byzantines and the Gauls. I had to learn how to pronounce that, by the way. They introduced the Biosphere and the Temple of Zeus. The Temple of Zeus being the last of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Now, all 7 of them are in the game, which is really cool. They also included a new map script, which they call the Highlands, which introduces a map that's filled with mountains and hills. And then they also introduced a new game mode called the Dramatic Ages, where, quick summary TLDR, which we'll get into more detail later, but TLDR, there's no normal ages anymore. It's just golden ages and dark ages, and that's it.
In that mode.
Yeah, in that mode. So let's go through the wonders first, I guess. The Biosphere and the Temple of Zeus. So, do you have the Biosphere pulled up right now? Because I don't.
I do.
Go for it.
So the Biosphere adds appeal to marsh and rainforest tiles, boosts power and tourism in Gathering Storm, adds science yields to tiles under certain rule sets. So I believe that this is going to transform Brazil into a powerhouse if they were able to get a Biosphere. The Maori too, I think would love a Biosphere. And you know what? Late game, who doesn't like appeal? And I'm curious if this will stack with other wonders.
100% with like Eiffel Tower. +1 appeal to every tile in your civilizations. It'll stack with that for sure.
So are we gonna see like +10 appeal?
It only maxes at 6,
or it'll max. Okay.
Actually, no. So I think after +5 appeal, that's when it gets to breathtaking, and it can go further, but it doesn't go any more than breathtaking. But if you were to put like a seaside resort, it's based on a 1-to-1 scale of. I think it's a 1-to-1 scale of appeal, then it would apply to there. But I think also housing for neighborhoods max out at 6 as well.
So I'm envisioning some crazy like future planning where you're like, oh, if I pull this off, I can get a conservation zone here and the eco zone and this, and then with the eco zone, the Biosphere, I can get tons of these neighborhoods that are massive. So basically this one city is going to be gigantic and have insane tourism all being generated from nature. Well, that's really cool.
I was more thinking it's really good for national parks. So it allows Brazil.
That's what I meant. National parks, like that's what the conservation,
like the eco zone and
that's what I meant.
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
The whatever the naturalists. Sorry, the conservationism is what's getting you. The naturalists, but it needs a triangle of space. Sorry, but yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, so I was thinking for Brazil. So Brazil already benefits from +1 appeal on rainforests, and then this just doubles it up. And so I'm thinking, okay, if you don't build this as Brazil, 1, you're doing something wrong, and then 2, if you do build it, the amount of national parks that you can build with Brazil is through the roof, especially if you play True Start Location with Brazil, because then they're guaranteed to start in the Amazon rainforest, and it's just you could just blow this crap up, man. Like it's so I don't even know what to call it. It's so crazy. I don't care
Now-
about the marsh too much personally. I don't think that I don't care about that. I hate marsh tiles personally. But the
Good food
rainforest
in the
one's
marsh
good.
tile.
Yeah.
But we don't know when in the game you get it, so we don't know at what. So is it at conservationism, or is it like even further down the line? So will it even matter? Or maybe it'll help give you that last push for the culture win.
I think it's it's a modern era wonder.
Really that early?
Yeah.
Early. What do you mean early?
I think it'd be like if it isn't after information age or whatever.
Yeah.
After
But
I think that's when.
so
it'd be
this is
minimum.
based off of the biosphere that was built in Montreal. So it exists. It's not like a
Okay.
futuristic thing. This is a thing. It exists.
Okay, maybe modern age then.
I
Are
thought
you
conservation
sure?
was a good guess though.
Are you sure that you're not talking about like the Expo thing from the World Expo in 1990?
Look up right now Biosphere
The
Montreal.
Biosphere. Okay.
Biosphere Montreal, the lead designer even posted a picture on Twitter saying like, "Here's the Biosphere in Montreal." Like it's 100. This is 100% based on the Biosphere
Okay,
Environment Museum in Montreal, Quebec. Yes.
So it housed the former United States Pavilion constructed in Expo 9. I just remember it had something to do with the Expo.
Expo 76. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, I stand corrected. So okay, then maybe it would be like conservation, maybe earlier.
I think
Okay, so that
conservation's a
would
good
make a
guess.
difference. That would make a difference. That would definitely make a difference.
It is pretty late in the game though, so yeah, you have to wait. But if you can get conservation, so that's when you get naturalists as well. So if you can kind of like get them at the same time. But for Brazil, it's pretty late in the game because they do have battleships, and that's also when they get their battleships. So maybe like Brazil's now this like modern era powerhouse, but we just don't know because this is all in theory. In theory, biospheres are good for Brazil. In theory.
In theory.
In theory,
theory.
communism works.
In
theory. So that's Biosphere, very cool. This one here, the statue of Zeus. Okay,
So
this is
much
this
you don't
is
know
like
about
a
this thing.
Civ 2, I think, is the statue of Zeus. Might have been Civ 3. It was a cool, okay, or it was definitely in Civ 4. Definitely in Civ 4. Statue of Zeus, definitely in Civ 4. So this grants free military units to the city it's constructed in.
You don't know what kind of units those are, or how many.
You don't know, is it like once an era you get a free unit, which I think would be cool. If it was once an era you get a free
I
melee
guarantee you,
unit.
it's probably once an era. That's how it's
Maybe.
Yeah, or is it like you
OP
suddenly get a
thing would
stack?
be the OP thing would be if it was kind of like that thing that Zoe did with England, where if you build a unit, you get a second one for free.
Right.
No.
You know, grants
Like, if you-
free military units to the city. That could be it.
Wow.
That could be it.
Okay, the fact that this is available in the ancient era, and if you build one unit, it could. There's no way. I refuse. Unless it's either
Okay,
one only in that one city.
Remember that it is good, but being able to build it double, you have to have the economy to actually support these units.
That's
right?
not hard to do.
It can be very hard, and it can be very easy to destroy the infrastructure, right? If you're facing an empire that has such a big.
I guess.
We don't know if this is the case, though. We don't know if the case. It just says that it grants free military units to the city. I think, though, Nystagmus, you said it. I think you're right. I think it'll be something like either once per era, or it'll be an ancient era. What's it called?
Maybe it doubles
Arsenal.
up until the ancient era is over, or the classical era is over, and then it stops.
I was just thinking maybe it just gives you like 2 units or 3 units, 3 of like your whatever anti-cavalry unit is, because it also gives you 100% production bonus to all anti-cavalry units, right? So that's the double thing for it. Really good for Shaka and Zulu, who has the Impi as their unique unit. Really good for Sweden, who has, I don't remember what they're called, but they have a unique anti-cavalry unit for them.
As long as its abilities continue throughout the its entire build, right?
Yeah. So presumably it's empire-wide, whole empire-wide, 100% production bonus to anti-cavalry units. Seems pretty good. Anti-cavalry units aren't used that much. I don't know if you really use them.
I don't know if it's going to be empire-wide. It might just be for that one city.
Really? You think so?
It says It says
doesn't say
grants free military units to the city it is constructed in.
Yes.
Grants a production bonus towards anti-cavalry units.
I'm presuming it's empire-wide.
Is there a wonder that's like that for any other type
Venetian
of
arsenal.
unit? The Venetian arsenal is, which that's what I was trying to say earlier, is whenever you build a boat, you build 2 boats. It grants a production bonus towards anti-cavalry units. Is there another wonder that provides a bonus to building a type of unit?
So Venetian arsenal got changed.
Did they?
No. So in Rise and Fall, it got changed. Right. Instead of building a double boat, it was 100% production to all cities' boats, and then I think I guess they changed it back to the double boat.
I never noticed that difference. The double boat was in any city, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's in any city. Yeah, but they changed it, and I guess they changed it back. Because I remember at one point, thinking, like, oh, thank God they changed this because this was really broken, right? And I guess because even like during the Civ show, that's when I discovered they changed it back, and I was like, oh, I thought this was just a base 100% production bonus.
Yeah, Venetian arsenal gives you a naval unit trained at any one of your cities. Yeah, so
an additional,
that's
still basically 100%.
But there's no wonder that I don't believe there's any wonder that actually adds like a percentage bonus that says like archers are built at plus 50% production. I don't think there's a wonder that does that.
No, just policy cards. No.
Yeah. Or general production or general whatever. So to have that, it grants production bonus towards all units. I don't know. I have seen things where it says this city built something at this percentage bonus. So I could see it being anti-cavalry are built at the city at half, or at plus 50%. But now that I mention it, I actually could see them do a Venetian arsenal for military for ground units. I could see that.
I think because they specifically chose anti-cavalry, that's why it can be empire-wide, because anti-cavalry is countered by melee, and melee is usually like the go-to melee unit. It's like if you had a choice between building anti-cavalry or melee, you're probably going to choose melee over anti-cavalry, unless you have a specific reason to build this anti-cavalry, like you're playing Grand Colombia or you're playing against Poland. Or
maybe this is a hard counter to Grand Colombia.
Right. This is probably it. Exactly.
Well, think about it. How many civs use cavalry? Like tons.
Mongolia, Grand Colombia,
Mongolia, Canada, United States, Arabia, Byzantine, Scythia, like
Ethiopia,
Hungary, Russia, like Mali, like a lot of units. A lot of them are cavalry. The Egyptians, like it's almost silly how many cavalry units there are. So maybe it is something that's specifically focused on anti-cavalry, and maybe the free units you get are anti-cavalry.
That's what I think too. I think the free units are anti-cavalry. That would make the most sense.
Be interesting. Bunch of pike and shots, and it might be to a certain era. It might be that only to this era.
I doubt it, but maybe.
Either way, it sounds like a freaking powerful.
I doubt it too, because they're leaning more towards let's make it broken and then we fix it later.
Right? I like that. That's kind of like true. Ask forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right. It's easier to nerf things than it is to buff them, to be honest, because nerfing it's easier to balance a nerf, as if you buff something, it's easier to make something that wasn't OP before now OP, right? If you buff it. And so nerfs are something that people usually tend to do. I just go by what Blizzard does a lot for like StarCraft. They usually nerf things. They don't normally buff things, right? they never like add extra things to something. They're always like, that's too strong, let's take it away.
See, Dota 2 is the complete opposite, where they buff everything. And so like their philosophy is, if everything's good, nothing's good.
Nothing's good. Yeah.
If everything's OP, then nothing's OP.
Exactly. And that's how secret societies works, right? If everything's OP.
Now,
I just go back to one of my best comments, which is, I'm kind of hearing that because it's not OP, it sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, for the Hermetic Order.
Which kind of is a good segue into Byzantine as empire.
It's always got something.
My official guess for the statue of Zeus is that it'll turn the city into a Venetian arsenal for military units, and I'll go the extra guess and say for cavalry units specifically. So build 1, get 2. That's my guess.
I'll take a guess. I think it'll provide you 2 anti-cavalry units of whatever the highest technology you have, and every era, and then 100% production bonus towards anti-cavalry empire-wide throughout the whole game. That's my prediction.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the most OP option, which is because that's just the way they are.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go with it gives you 100% production bonus in all your cities for anti-cavalry units, and it will grant you a free military unit no matter what military unit you build.
Oh, it just does it. It just gives it to you. Yeah.
Just like the Venetian arsenal. It'll just double whatever you build in that city.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that philosophy. I'm gonna go with the most OP I can think of.
I do remember in Civ 4 when you were friends with the city state, it would randomly give you. Oh no, Civ 5. It would randomly give you a military unit at any point. Maybe it's just that, and we're all overthinking this, but I don't know. But I like our predictions, and we're gonna stick with those. Let's move on to the Byzantine Empire. Baby, let's go.
This was exciting. This video, watching it today, I was like, holy crap, this Civ is great.
It's good.
It's one of those, not like Poland where they're all over the place. This is I get it. It's got a very clear-cut strategy. This is how this Civ wins the game. This is what it does. This is what makes it good.
Mm-hmm.
What a crazy great Civ. Who wants to crack this one open?
So one of the biggest things when I heard about this is I was always wondering, because it obviously very conquest religious victory, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of merged the two into a single kind of unit where you can spread your religion without you could technically spread religion without building a single missionary with this Civ, right? So
yes.
Technically speaking,
yes.
right? Technically correct is the best type of correct. And so and one of the things I was thinking of was, is there an ability that you would, even if you're going for a domination victory, would you accidentally win a religious one because you're just spreading your religion by defeating units left, right, and center?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, you spread your religion to other cities if you defeat city-states. And so
it's
so,
called.
Yeah, I just wonder if you're trying to take over the last Civ in the game, you're it's okay, one more capital I have to go for, and you just keep on defeating units, and all of a sudden all the cities convert and you win a religious victory instead.
I love that. It's guys, fuck that.
So obviously, the most important thing about Byzantine Empire is, in order to get at least 50% of what its abilities is, you must get a religion. You must have one.
But they gear it. They gear it so that you almost your better chances to get a religion. So there is an ability in there that they're better chance to get a religion. Kind of like Russia with the Lavra. It's you have a better chance to get a religion. They also have something in there too. We can get to when we get there.
Yes. So the ability that you are speaking to, Nystagmus, this is neat. So this is called the Taxis. So it's a +3 combat and +3 religious strength for all units for each holy city converted to Byzantine religion.
That's important.
Including Byzantine's own holy city.
Also important. Okay.
So holy city this is where the religion is founded.
Yes.
And then you get so no matter what, all of your guys are getting at least a +3 if you found a faith.
Boom.
Now when you factor that, this is basically a religious jerk Civ, because they want to stop your holy city. If they convert your holy city, you're in big trouble. All right. If you likely your religion is dying now that your main holy city's dead. So but there's more, guys. There's more.
Oh, I know.
Byzantine's religion, including Byzantine's own holy city. So Byzantine's religion is spread to nearby cities when a unit from an enemy civilization or city-state is defeated.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving the actual what it's doing it. +1 profit points from holy sites. So that's the very likely they will get the faith that they need, and this ability to convert cities you're attacking, they have to fudge. They got to nerf Crusade. Like,
I don't think they're going to. I don't
otherwise,
think they're going to.
otherwise,
Honestly,
you're
the
gonna.
other thing too is I think we're going to focus. A lot of people are going to focus on the religion and conquest part, but with the changes in amenities for getting a static and stuff like that, I think Hippodrome is also going to be overlooked because Hippodrome is kind of OP too. Like you get +3 amenities, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get the zoo or stadium, the amenities extend to all city centers. 6 tiles out.
6 tiles out.
And when you build it for the first time in your city, you get a free heavy
A
cavalry
free freaking heavy cavalry.
You get a free one when you build the Hippodrome. You get a free one when you build an arena, and then you get a free one when you build the zoo.
Every time you build a building in that square.
Here's the kicker, though. So I had clarification.
And those units have no maintenance costs.
Yes.
And those.
So I had clarification for that. So Carl, aka Borderline, he's the QA lead for Axis. He was in a couple of streams today, and there was clarification of what that really meant. So what that means is, for example, if you were to build a tank, you need to have 1 oil, and you also need oil to maintain that tank. So what the no maintenance cost really means is that you don't need that resource to maintain and build that unit. So let's say, this is very common in the TheCivShow, I don't have oil, I can't build tanks, what the hell is going on? Don't worry, just build a freaking hippodrome or the arena or the zoo, and you get one absolutely for free, and you don't even need oil, and you'll never need oil because you just get a free tank. And if you upgrade that unit, it doesn't need it either. So you can get a knight for free and then upgrade it, and it doesn't need the next resource, and it doesn't need the next resource, and it doesn't need the next resource. This thing's insane. It's incredible. How does it like
and it's half of the production of a standard arena. So it's faster to build.
Of arena, or
and it's almost like you're building 2 things at the same time. So you build it and you get a free unit when you build it for the first time. And so it's almost like building a unit, and it's half the cost, right? And so half the production cost, you get +3 amenities, which is like really important now, right?
That's a lot. Like
that's a lot of amenities
from this thing. That's nuts.
Yeah, this is like if a golf course was a transformer and transformed into a tank and then shot at people, right? Like,
yeah.
And so I was like, everyone's going to focus on like the actual knight or the boat that they make as well, the droma. And all that stuff. I'm like, well, the hippodrome is actually like pretty crazy all by itself, and it plays into their other special unit, because then you can get the special unit just by building entertainment complexes, because it's a heavy cavalry unit.
Yes.
And so,
and
it's like a Lanero if the Lanero decided to like grow armor and stuff, because it gives itself, I think, the adjacency bonus as well.
That's what I was questioning. I don't know if it did that or not. I don't know if like you need 2 of them and they give it to each other, or if it actually applies to itself. I have no idea.
You're talking about the Tagma?
Yeah, the Tagma.
So, the Tagma.
So I want to.
You know the Tagma now?
Yeah, I know the Tagma. let me hold on. Before we move on to that, let me compare and contrast this to the entertainment complex. So the entertainment complex still does give you 6 tiles away for zoo and stadium and stadium. So that is normal. So that's not specific to the hippodrome. The only difference is obviously the free military unit, and the entertainment complex gives you +1 amenity to the parent city, whereas the hippodrome gives you +3 amenities to the parent city. So then the difference is +2, and you get a free unit, and it costs half. The district itself costs half, but the production to produce an arena and the production to produce a zoo is exactly the same. Just to clarify that one. Let's move on to the unique units. The what do you call it?
The Tagma.
Tagma, yeah.
So this is, they get a couple unique units. They get one is a boat, and then their leader grants them an extra unit. So the Basil II gives you the Tagma unique unit. So you get it at Divine Rights. So when you get some monarchy. And it's essentially a knight that is a general. So it's like a knight that has an aura of +4 combat strength, but it also gives +4 religious strength. So it's like a religious general who is leading either troops or missionaries. Take your pick. We're coming. I don't know if a monk counts as both. I don't know. Or
it
that
does it to all units, right? So it's not just to each other. Like Lineros gave each other
nearby land units.
It's nearby. It's any land unit.
Yeah. So that one also stacks. I don't think this one stacks.
Linero specifically stacks. This one I don't
think this one stacks either. No. But yeah, it's a good comparison. It's basically a great general that can also attack. But the warrior monk is specifically a military unit. Religious strength means like missionaries and apostles. Like it gives them plus
I wasn't sure
combat.
if it did something effed up where it gave them both.
No, but plus theological combat in any sense is incredibly strong because it's impossible to have stronger theological combat unless it's with a policy card or with a theology. That's the only way to do it.
It's policy card and their abilities, theology. Well, they get the upgrade, right? They
can get the +20 upgrade, but like basically what this means is Byzantine will never lose a theological combat ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. You got to kill them the right way with units.
Yeah. It is
or blizzards.
Incredible. But let's go through Basil II's leader bonus. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce this. Porphyrogenetos.
You did just try.
Well,
you lied to us, Moy. You lied to us.
Based off of what the video said, that is not even close to what the actual pronunciation is.
Genentos. Yeah, I know what that
is.
Yeah.
This ability is crazy.
It is insane, and it plays really well into the civilization ability where killing units can convert city.
Before we tell what it is, the comparison I make for this is the time that Moy had a heavy cavalry unit and he brought a battering ram with it. Well, they're like, that's a great idea, and that's what the Byzantine Empire.
That's literally went through my head. The exact same thought. I'm like, wow, they brought my dream come true.
Yep.
Well, it's almost like where Byzantium's armies would just bring missionaries along with them to convert cities to then attack them.
Yeah. So missionaries almost act as siege units now in its own kind of way, right?
Because they nullify defenses.
Yeah.
Yes. Heavy and light cavalry units deal full damage when attacking cities, following the same religion. So you have to
as Byzantium
convert as Byzantium. So you got to kill a bunch of units first, but you would probably bring missionaries with you.
And again, though, you need a religion.
You do need that, and if you can deprive them of one, but it would be so hard to stop them. It would be so hard to stop them from getting religion.
It would be so hard because the +2 great people points, great profit points when you build one holy site, and then you just go do 2 projects and you got yourself a great profit. The only person who can beat them, I'm sure, is probably Russia. Only person who can beat them.
Yeah. Or there are ones I think right off the bat get faith from certain tiles, or the Mali get faith right away.
That doesn't mean great profit points though, right?
No, but it means they're gonna get faster to the first pantheon, and they'll get faster to
not the holy site or not the great profit points.
Religion propagates religion. Okay, if you get the first,
that's not how this works,
dude. If I get my first pantheon, and I take the desert one, and I'm playing and there's desert everywhere, my first holy site is going to have considerably more faith that it's generating. I'm going to be able to buy my guys faster once I found my religion.
Once you found a religion. Wait, no, pause. That's not the argument. The argument is getting a religion first.
You need faith to get religion.
No, you
don't. You want to get faith. Well, you should.
No, it's production and great profit points. How do you get great profit points? Either do the holy site project and boost it forward that way, or the only way is wild card policy that gives you great profit points, or +1 for having one holy site. But they get
pantheon for God of the Forge. There you go. Boom.
God of the Forge doesn't give you great profit points.
God of the Forge. It gives you +25% to build in a city that doesn't have a district in it. So that'll get me your holy site faster.
So you can get your holy site faster.
Or divine spark would also help you
divine
get
spark
your
only
religion
works
faster.
for great artists, great musicians, great writers, and great scientists.
Okay, fine.
That's it.
Well, I'll stick with the
Boom,
first
Mike.
one. Boom.
Drop.
Boom. No, I dropped my mic.
No.
Okay. Upping production.
All right, well, either way, though,
Let's move on.
super powerful. But we should also move on to the part where I called it.
Yeah.
Hey, but I also called it too at the same time. But go ahead.
No, I'm
I
taking
called
it.
the leader. I called the leader.
But so you called the leader, but I mean, when we were talking about the game modes and stuff.
Yes.
You did call it. You called that game mode.
We're moving
Again,
on to game
I was
modes
just
already?
going by what
Okay.
Firefaxes was kind of doing, which is how do we rock the what?
Firefox?
Firefox?
No,
Firefox. You said Firefox.
Oh, sorry. How can we rock the boat, basically? How do we rock the boat more?
Yeah. No,
Right?
you
So it's
called
gonna
that
add
one.
more chaos.
I included
No,
you
I
in
didn't
my
call
video.
I didn't call the
included you.
exact thing. I said like, that where Dark Ages punish you. That's why it was my point. My example was like losing technologies, right?
Yeah.
They decided to not go with that. They decided to go with you lose cities.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, there's been a game mode that they've had before where the cities would turn into barbarian encampments, and it got taken out because all the people, all the game testers and stuff were like, "Take this out. This is horrible. We hate it."
So it wasn't a game mode. I think what he was saying was that was part of the normal game. Was if you went into a dark age, your city turned into an encampment. So this game mode, like the dark age half of it, was implemented in the real game. Then the QA was like, take this shit out. It's terrible. And they took it out. But now he's like, okay, now we're adding game modes. I'm putting it back in. So he put it back in.
Now, the one thing I really like about the dramatic ones is that they saw, and it's always like, I always like how they when they add it, they always say, hey, we found that you guys are all doing this thing. We don't want you to do this thing anymore.
Right.
So they're like, you guys are just getting enough error points just to get a golden age, then you stopped. We don't want you to stop. You have to keep getting error points. And so now they're trying to give us a carrot to say, if you have a golden age with more error points, you get a more powerful golden age.
That could be really good.
Now, like in Moy's video, watch the video. The one thing that he commented on was, oh, well, are you going to power this through and get more of them? But that might give you a dark age later, which is true. For me, it's more, I hate when I've gotten my golden age and I just so happen to be building a wonder, or there's something I can't stop and I'm just like, there's 10 points wasted. So for me, it will be less about worrying about spamming and then losing and going into a dark age, and more about, well, what happens when I do have that overlap? Okay, cool. At least there's a little bonus there of bonus loyalty.
I still think you shouldn't overlap. That's my opinion. That's pretty much where I'll end that, because losing a city in a dark age would suck unless you have the military to take it back right away. It would suck.
Which, and I'll say something in a second. There is one more unit. They have one more unit because that bonus unit is Pascal gives that. Okay, so that's his little bonus gift.
It's the beat.
This is, I think, awesome. I think it's basically a baby frigate. They get a Drummond, which I think is like a fireboat or something.
It spits out fire. Yeah,
it spits out fire, and that's what it looks like.
It's where the mythical Greek fire comes from.
Greek fire, yeah. So
if anyone doesn't know, Greek fire is something that we haven't been able to really replicate all that well, but it is a chemical compound that apparently the Byzantines or the Greeks came up with, where when you pour water on it, more fire happens. That's like the myth behind the idea behind it. Yeah.
So literally the strategy was to burn people's ships. So it replaces the Quagmire, and it has a ring. Quagmire.
Quadream. Got it.
It replaces it. Okay. It adds, so you have a range of 2 instead of 1, which is a huge deal for an ancient naval unit. That is a huge deal. One of the most limiting things about that boat is you have to go right beside the city.
Yes,
and there's usually limited places to go. Okay, so that's bad enough. Okay, so a range of 2 would be fantastic. On top of that, it gets plus 10 range strength against land and naval units. So this is like basically a baby frigate that you get with shipbuilding, which is one of the earliest techs that you can get.
Not to mention, the upgrade path on ranged naval units gives you plus strength against district defenses. And so this thing can turn into a siege powerhouse right from the get-go, pretty much.
Right away. Right away. You're attacking from the sea. You're coming in with your horses. They're destroying the city walls. Like, this is a civ where you need to rush through the medieval era and the Renaissance. Like, you have to rush through as quickly, get to gunpowder pretty much as fast as you can.
Oh, against them, when you're against them.
Because even if you meet them on the battlefield, every unit they kill of yours is going to convert your city to their faith.
This unit, like, with all due respect, like, it makes me want to make, on my YouTube, I do Better Know a Leader. Sometimes I want to do a Better Know a Unit.
Better Know a Unit,
and this unit specifically is one of the units that changed history.
Nothing's stopping you, dude. Do it. Go for it.
Right? So, like, for example, Constantinople, its walls, everyone knows about its walls, right? Its famous walls saved it. But the thing is under several sieges by Arab forces, they were trying to be taken by sea because Constantinople is right in between the Mediterranean Sea and it's right at that peninsula there. And so there's actually been a couple sieges where Greek fire from these dromas literally devastated entire fleets of enemy combatants that's completely stopped the siege. Because in order to siege Constantinople, you need to siege it by sea. You need to. You can't just like siege it by land. That's what the advantage of the city is. And so this Greek fire that they had, it was a closely guarded state secret. No one knew about it. No one knew how to make it except for the Byzantines, and it literally saved the city on several occasions. And so it's also in the mythos because we don't even know how they did it. We think we know how they did it. We don't know how they did it though. And so that's the kind of crazy thing behind it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I can't tell you the amount of times where I had a quad dream and I thought to myself, oh, I can't reach it. Countless. Pretty much every time I build it. Oh, I can't reach it. It only has one range. Crap. That'll never happen ever again with the Byzantines.
Not with the Byzantines.
So happy.
Like and like they get it. The replacement, the frigate has an attack of 45. These guys basically have an attack of 35. Like, it's just incredible. I'm looking forward. When I announce the one little thing I want to say after we do the leader, yeah, we'll see.
So let's go.
So, wait, okay. So this in its entirety, this whole pack.
Oh,
so I'll say it now. Very, very cool. And I will say that whatever after this game with the mod, my next game will be all of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do Highlander mode. We'll have this game mode on, and the choices of civs will specifically be Byzantine, Gaelic, the Gauls, the Georgia, because Georgia gets modified, and those will be the three choices, and maybe Scotland because it's going to be a Highland map. But I'm going to specifically put those four choices out, and then the winner of this game gets to choose first. So that will add, I think, a little fire under our butts to win on Sunday, because we all want to choose
Byzantine. Yeah,
you either Byzantine
maybe you want Georgia,
the Gauls, the Gauls. It's like, or you could be Georgia.
They're
or
a completely new sim in this new game mode. They're like completely.
They're
different.
basically completely different.
Oh my god!
So that's the reward, and we'll see all the rest of the stuff that's being offered. So stay tuned on Sunday for that.
So let's quickly go over the Gauls, the Gaelic Empire.
Gauls, any guesses? We don't know anything.
Okay, I think it's gonna be the leader. Is gonna be Vercingetorix. Nailed the pronunciation. Do you know who he is? I don't either. He was
highly researched.
This is highly researched. When you look at the mod, he's also the leader. No, he was the leader of the Gaelic when actually during their downfall, when Julius Caesar came into. Is it what's the is it Gaelic? Is that like the country or
Gaul?
Gaul.
Gaul.
Well, so when
Gaul.
Julius Caesar came into Gaul, he was the one that was in charge, and he defended against Julius Caesar, and he did so fairly well. However, Julius Caesar did run him over, but he's the most famous leader, as far as I'm concerned, of the Gaelic Empire. So that's my guess. Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix.
I would agree with that. I can't see another leader being chosen, to be honest. Mainly because Gaul, as a concept, is a pretty loose definition of like a bunch of different peoples. And the reason why you would choose someone like him would be that he's like one of the few times where they've been united in any sense, really. Like, and so he would be like the logical choice, to be honest. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So like for example, I'm surprised that Basil II is the leader, because I always thought that Justinian would be the leader of the Byzantines, but I'm not surprised by that, right? I'm not saying that Basil II is also one of the most famous leaders of the Byzantines. So but in this case, I can't see anyone else being the leader.
I think I'll go against the grain, and I think they'll announce the leader to be a famous, popular female in their legends or folklore.
Okay, that's a good guess. It's like the Maya with Lady Six Sky. Yeah. A lot of people were actually were happy about that choice. When I was reading on Twitter, people were like very proud that it was Lady Six Sky. So I think it was like Mayan natives that were saying that. So that was nice.
Yeah. Lady Six Sky was a real person, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because there's actually Lady Six Sky was part of actually a dynasty of a bunch of female leaders who rose to power in that area.
Okay.
In the Mayan culture, so that's kind of like there's a lot of matriarchs that were in charge of various tribes in Maya during that time. She just happened to be one of the most prominent.
Okay, so I'm gonna say here, if you want to know more about the predictions of the Gauls before the release, I would say go check out the most recent video on our YouTube, the Byzantine and Gaul, who are the next leaders. We have some predictions that are in there, some forensics, as well as we deep dive into what exactly was revealed during the video. There has been some hints towards what their abilities are going to be and what their unique building is going to be as well. I would recommend watching that one. Also, by the time you listen to this podcast, there's going to be another video of the first look of the Byzantines. It's going to be an analysis of what strategies are going to be best on launch. I personally think actually encampments are still going to be better than entertainment districts for the Byzantines until you get to tanks. I think encampments are a more consistent way to produce your units than a one-time building of an entertainment district. You can use it, it's still good. However, I still think encampments are better, plus great generals.
Why wouldn't you just build both?
But I would prioritize an encampment over an entertainment district, is what I'm trying to say.
Civilization suggests to me large cities because of the amenity bonus, which means they'll have room to do both.
Then you also need like food and housing and
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You can get all that stuff.
Cultivation. Anyway, you can find those videos on our YouTube at youtube.com, not /TheCivShow. Just look up TheCivShow on YouTube. It's the best thing I can tell you. Is there anything you guys want to add?
Okay. So I actually did make a note at the end of the last video. I said I was going to do Suleiman of the Ottoman Empire for the next Better Know leader. I think I'm going to switch gears a little bit and kind of start covering some of the newer civs that are coming out. I have decided to cover Basil II of the Byzantine Empire instead.
Nice.
It's the change I've made, and that's a surprise. I didn't want to talk too much about his history just because I am going to cover it in the next video.
Okay.
So I did switch gears. I will do Suleiman soon, though, because he's also a very interesting leader as well.
And if you want to follow our social medias, you definitely should. We're very active on our social medias, especially on Twitter. Follow us at twitter.com/TheCivShow, or look up at TheCivShow. You can also find us on Instagram at the same at TheCivShow.
Oh, thanks, Peppermint Butler, for the raid.
Oh,
32.
shoot. No, we were just ending.
You just caught us at the very end of our podcast, unfortunately.
we could postpone slightly and do some community questions.
Yeah, we could do that.
As a surprise, it's like an encore. That's what we just. They're all like encore. We're like, oh. And we came back on stage.
Do me a favor though. Do your end so that I can wrap it up in the podcast, and then
sure,
we can do that. Okay.
Sure. And of course, if you're looking for the more intimate connection, you can join us on our Discord. Very warm, welcoming community is awaiting you. It's where we have most of our discussions throughout the week about a myriad of subjects, including pet pictures, which are great. So join us on our Discord, and you won't regret it.
And of course, always check out, just like I said, our YouTube channel, where Moy and I are so far having a bunch of video series that are ongoing right now. I do the Better Know a Leader series, and Moy does kind of more freestyle videos based on what's topical going on in the civilization community at that moment. His last video is talking about the Byzantine Empire and the Gaul.
Yeah.
So check that out as well.
I like watching them.
And this is where we'd sign off. Okay, so questions from the community. Where is Michael Curtin? Have you guys seen this photo, by the way, of me memeing OnSpot? Like, I've showed you guys, right? I showed you guys?
The Australian one?
Yeah, the Australian Michael Curtin. If you guys haven't seen that, it's on our Twitter right now, but I'll also post it in chat right now. I'll post it in chat so that you guys can see it. Here it is. But if you want to see it on the stream because you are lazy, then here you go. This is OnSpot TV.
What's he got? Vegemites?
He's got Vegemite. He's got some Vegemite. He's basically the kangaroo was in there already. I added the crocodile. I added the hats because Michael likes to wear a lot of hats. This didgeridoo, and then the Sydney Opera House in the background as well. And this is OnSpot TV, ladies and gentlemen. He's made one of me too, of like the Maori. He put me on a Maori's face, and he's like, what did he say again? I don't remember. But we're having like a meme off right now, and I need to beat him. And then I promise I would do Bose next, and I know exactly what character I put him on. And I'm very excited for it. So watch out, Bose, coming for you next. You're the next target. But okay, so people, go ahead.
Oh no, I think we're just gonna. We had a couple questions already geared up a little bit too, right? That we were gonna do.
Okay, yeah.
Geared up, and then there's a couple in the chat as well.
So let's do this one before I forget what it is, because I think we can very, very quickly answer this one without thinking. Just at the top of your head, what is your favorite Civ to play? Each of you. I'll start. Top three: Aztecs, Incans, Norway. Boom. Go.
Canada, the Mali, and now Brazil.
What? Okay.
For me, it is the Grand Colombia, Germany, and the Romans. I'm pretty sure the Byzantine Empire is going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think the Byzantines is going to be up there for me too.
It's going to be one of those ones right there, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Groovy Feet, thank you for gifting a sub to Hurricane, by the way. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
100 days. Nystagmus wins with the perfect answer. All S tier Civs.
Rome's not an S tier. Get out of here.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, my bad.
Okay, so other questions we wanted to cover. Is Byzantine the new Grand Colombia? Are they the new S tier broken ass Civ? Do we, in speculation, in theory, is Byzantine the new Grand Colombia?
In theory, they could be. I just think that Grand Colombia has a couple things that stack so early in the game. Like that +1 movement is like huge.
Okay. Right?
That +1 movement to everything. And then also getting that free general every era with those retire abilities. And how they pair up with the Lineros is kind of like a really kind of perfect storm. Although I just like to see how the Byzantine Empire's like units actually do play off each other, especially when it comes to like that religious conquest kind of ability that you can do, right? So I'm really surprised. I want to see how the Droma especially the Drummond, plays out, because that can be like super OP with its range and its abilities and how strong it is against units. And how the Knight plays off with the armies, like that +4 combat strength with the adjacent units. I just don't know if it's going to make up for the bonuses that the Commandante generals give, because you get free ones like at every era. So by the time the industrial era rolls around, you have 4 of them, right? So I don't know for sure. It's highly likely, though. I think they're the new Grand Columbia, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, I have a quick answer. So I think that they are the new Grand Columbia because the +3 automatic combat strength, basically right when you find a religion, I would say is equivalent to the +1 movement that you get as Grand Columbia at the start of the game, because it applies to every single unit that you have is +3 combat strength. So I think they are as good because of that one ability. There you go.
Yeah, I think they have the potential to actually surpass the Grand Colombians. Grand Colombia is great, but as versatile as their military units are, the civilization itself is very focused. It is a military civ. It does domination victory. Like this is its main way of winning the game. When I look at the Byzantine Empire, I can see like, yeah, domination is important, but because of their faith and because of the sheer size they can get their cities to be, because of all the extra amenities, I see a civ that's a little more versatile than the Grand Colombians. So I think they'd actually surpass them.
They're also online a lot earlier than the Grand Colombians, right?
They're online earlier, and their bonus, like at first I was like, oh, their bonus peters off later. It's like, no, it doesn't. Like their Basile giving all heavy and light cavalry units deal full damage to attacking cities. Yeah, that isn't horses, insane. That's tanks. Okay, your tanks are attacking cities and they're doing full damage. Your tanks are bringing a battering ram with them to fight cities. And even the Navy is going to upgrade. You're going to have these ships that have butchered name. These ships that have been firing shots since the ancient era. They're going to be leveled up. They're going to turn into frigates. They're going to turn into battleships. And then add on all of that, what you said about, you get a tank that you don't have to put oil into. Hey, you've got the combination for a versatile civ.
I still think for Byzantine, like the thing that's hidden under it is just how powerful the hippodrome is going to be, like how you can utilize it to build army at the same time as like making all your cities ecstatic, at the same time as just really, I think it's a powerful district. That is kind of weird where, here's entertainment. By the way, you built a stadium. Here's your free cavalry unit. Like, it seems it doesn't match up, kind of. I don't know how that works. The only reason I can think of it is that a hippodrome is basically a racetrack, right? Like that's what the hippodrome is. It's the races, the chariot race. So that's the only reason why I think that it's connected to the cavalry unit. Because it seems kind of weird to like, hey man, here's an entertainment complex. Now here's your tank. It seems kind of weird, right? So I think that's the reason why that happens.
The other thing that I really like about this Civ 2, though, is that they can just really focus on early culture. And, like, don't worry about tech at first, because you're going to get your knights when you get your divine right. So get your divine right as quickly as you can. And then at this point, you can get your cities bigger, build those campuses, catch up in tech. I don't know. I like that. I think that's a cool thing that I'm pursuing.
I already had, like, a pre-build for the Byzantines of, like, what religion to go and everything like that. It's in actually this video that I haven't released yet. I'm working on it. It's going to be released today or tomorrow. So I think Bose says, their ability only matters if you find a religion. However, they have a built-in mechanic where they get more great profit points for having a holy site than everybody else. So just like Russia has +2 great profit points when they build a Lavra, Byzantines also have the +2 great profit points when they build a holy site, albeit that the Lavra is a cheaper cost, but the Byzantines still have that bonus towards those. Add to that the holy site prayers that you can do right when you build it. You can get your religion at worst case scenario second in a multiplayer game. You do play on deity Bose, so I understand where you're coming from. However, in multiplayer, there's no one who can beat you to your religion except Russia.
Yeah, I think you'll find they're gonna get it really rapidly.
Yeah, and then here's my theory for the Byzantines. So they unlock their unique knight with divine right. So in the civics tree with monarchy. I like that it's divine right because the Byzantines want to go monarchy for the three military policy slots, so that they can put in the plus production to cavalry units, the plus production to melee units if you want to go that route as well, and then the plus production to naval units. But you can replace one of those if you wanted to with +1 strategic resources to horses and iron if you're running out of iron, because you're going to be building a lot of these knights. Also with your religion, I think choral music would be the best one to go, so that you can rush to divine right. So your culture is going to be equal to the output of your temples and shrines. You can get to divine right faster, also without building a single theater square or campus, because usually you have to go campuses to get knights. You don't need to do that anymore. Just focus on building holy sites, then focus on building encampments, and then entertainment districts. Those are the top 3.
Pantheons don't help you get religions.
I didn't understand anything about a pantheon.
And they're right. The Byzantines seem like they're a very well thought out civ, that every one of their abilities plays off the other abilities that they have, right? Like even within the civics tree as well, right? Like, and so they know exactly what you would aim for, and they kind of give you a bonus for doing that. And so it is very very well like thought out civilization for its razor focused kind of purpose, right? Which is that religious conquest victory type.
I do wish.
And what I'll do is I will try to win next week's game so I can play them and everyone can see how not to play them. Don't do what I do with them at all. And so.
That's right. For those joining us, this next game we're playing is going to be a mod based on Warhammer. The Warhammer Fantasy. The winner gets to choose who they're going to play next week, and we're doing all new stuff. So I think we all are gunning for Byzantium or the Gulls. Moy will get stuck with Georgia.
Hey, Georgia in the new mode, Dramatic Ages, is S tier. They
might be S tier. They might be S tier.
Are you kidding? They're so good. So. If we have any questions from the chat, please feel free to throw it in there. Turd Ferguson, like your name. Turd Ferguson is saying that Japan would beat Byzantines to a religion. So Russia would be first, Japan would be second, and then probably Byzantine would be, I guess,
that's
third.
Still a bunch of specifics that need to be in the game when fairly reliably you can get this great profit. Once you build that shrine, you're going to be put production into doing the holy prayer. I think you're going to definitely be able to get it. If you don't get it, it's because you're playing them wrong.
I know, I agree with you. If you don't get a religion as Byzantines, you're not playing this right. Like, you did something wrong for sure.
So watch me play them and then not get a religion somehow.
Just step 1.
Get astrology first. Step 2, build scouts, find a natural wonder.
Hey, last time we played, I went down the wrong tech tree for the Maori, okay? So we'll have to see what happens with that.
You also had a very good excuse, though. So
I guess. Still an excuse, though.
All right, so I think it's time for. I think we're gonna wrap up here. So let's wrap up. If you haven't already, follow us on social media, Twitter @TheCivShow, Instagram @TheCivShow. Very quick.
Discord.
And check us out on our YouTube channel. I do the Better Know Leader District. Next leader is going to be Basil II of the Byzantine Empire. So check that out.
And then right after this, I will be finishing my edit for the analysis and reaction to the first look of the Byzantine video. Zoe dropped off, but we'll see you guys later. Hopefully you can join us on Sunday for the Civ show. We'll be playing a modded Warhammer map. It's going to be very, very, very exciting and something that's completely out of our comfort zone. But if you guys enjoy modded civilization, or you're curious of what the heck that looks like just like us, be sure to give us a follow and check us out on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Sunday.
All right. See you then.
See you guys later.
Good night.